Hey, hey. All right, guys, this is part two. Sorry, but we had to do a two-parter on this one, Leo. It was getting so long and it was kind of a juicy story. And I usually do a story until I feel complete, like until it's a book I'm ready to put down. So please forgive me if you wonder why do some videos end up longer or why are some shorter. It depends on if I've seen the closure or seen something that makes sense to me. And right now, I don't know where this thing goes because we're still talking about somebody who pretended with Leo. They played house with Leo. They really wanted to be with Leo. They got a taste of being with Leo, and then they didn't want it to be playing house. They really wanted to be with Leo. But at that point in time, Leo figured out that they were kind of living a double life. So Leo leaves this person, and that's where we are here in part two. If you didn't see part one, you'll definitely want to watch that first because there's more intricacies to it. But that's just the brief rundown. So we're right here with Leo basically telling them, I would have, well, like we could have had such a happy time together. We could have had adventures together. We could have had romance together. It could have been like a classic. I don't know. This feels like, you and me, babe. Let's travel to, across all the, road trips. We could have done anything together. We could have just had a fun time simply like sitting at a truck stop and having coffee. We could have had, I don't know. It's just like Leo told them point blank, everything that you're going to miss out on because you don't get to do that with me now because you kept your house a fortress. You never let me have a key to your house. You didn't invite me to your house. You hid your life in the bottom of a canyon so I'd never find it. You secluded everything and occluded everything. You were the coyote. You were the trickster. And what I would have given to you would have been a life of adventure. But that's why I'm moving on from you. So I guess I go adventure with somebody else. This Leo is a very strong character throughout this whole thing. This Leo has never had a moment of shaken confidence. This is a Leo whose attitude is, you blew it with me and you don't get any of this good, or yum yum in your life. You blew it with me, not vice versa. I'm not the one missing you. You're going to be the one missing me. And it's because of the way you played it. And I think that attitude is like maybe spot on here. We have a Four of Wands sideways. Leo may have said, I would have married you. You were the one that I would have like walked through those doors with. I would have had adventures with you. I do think Leo felt very connected to this person, maybe like past life connections, the whole 9 yards. And it's like, if only they had been honest with me instead of a trickster. If only I hadn't had to decipher what was going on with them, figure out where the games were or what the heck was going on, or the fact that they were living a double life. Okay, let's go ahead and give them a chance to respond. Because so far we've seen a very strong, very vocal Leo in all of this, who's just laying it out. This isn't an angry Leo. This is just a Leo who handles business totally straightforward, which is what we would expect because Leo, when I asked at the beginning, who is Leo? Leo's got like, I am Leo. I am the strength card. I don't participate in a circus. I run the circus. I operate wholeheartedly. I'm very straightforward. Sierra, you angel. Thank you, babe. You're so generous. Thank you, sweetheart. All right, so character, why did you play it this way with Leo? 8 of Pentacles, Hermit. All of a sudden, they were like, I got to work on how am I going to handle things with Leo. So they retreated from Leo at one point, which is what Leo said. That's when Leo figured out, you've been tricking. There's something about all this doesn't smell right. I said in part 1, it's like they withdrew from Leo for a period of time, and that's where Leo really started to put the puzzle pieces together. What were you withdrawing and trying to figure out with the 8 of Pentacles? 9 of Wands, the problems in their life. I think that they tried to like almost run away or withdraw from everything for a minute. Ooh. I feel this person was like sick to their stomach over the fact that not only did they start out with Leo on a lie, but then they fell head over heels with Leo. They knew Leo is the person that they want to have a real forever with. The story that they told Leo about how they were this King of Pentacles and they would be sharing all this sweet, sweet honey with Leo and it would be amazing. And, they were creating this temple of love with Leo and it was going to be so fabulous. And then it was like, oh my God, That's really what I really mean. And that's really what I want with Leo. I want to be with Leo. I want to stay with Leo. But shit, I told Leo a whopping lie, thinking Leo would never find out, because maybe at the beginning they didn't intend to stick around with Leo. And now that's all they want, is to be with Leo. So they withdraw to kind of think about, how am I going to work through this big freaking problem? I think, I'm not going to say that they necessarily ghosted, although they could have started dodging any real conversation, intentionally avoiding Leo, could have claimed that they had to go off and work at some, extra long hours, or because it's like, oh, I'm working hard, I'm working overtime, working, when really it was like, I have to escape and I have to go sit and stew in my, like, in this case, like intense stress. I do think this person was a train wreck over this, because I'm like, I'm getting chilly, so I'm starting to shake, but I feel like it's the shaking, like emotions of like stress, because they know they've been sitting in the devil's lap all this time. I lied to this amazing Leo. This amazing Leo gave me their heart. Morgan, you sweetheart. You are so sweet. Oh, Sassy Kate's always here. Whether she's on her hog or not, my attitude is definitely under the surface on this one. It feels like this character was now trying to still like communicate at a distance from Leo, trying to text more but talk less on the phone, because they didn't really, I mean, this is like when you are faced with the fact that you're a big fat liar, and the things that you've said have now, they're going to cost you your reputation, because it's going to have to be found out, because what you really want is to be the person that you pretended to be. And now you're going to have to admit that you're not that person. And that is like, I don't know if this person is about to puke on their shoes or what, but that's what it feels like. Tell me about this. What's the devil? Because now you got to hide the layers of your life. You got to hide that hidden life now, because now you want to be with Leo. So you want to keep showing up in Leo's life. So now you got to construct a bigger web. With this Page of Wands, overcompensating to try to make it be like it's really happy, but it's, they're gone, they're on a trip. I feel like this could have been a very elaborate lie. Everything's great. I'm on this work trip. I had to go spend time with family. Oh, we're having a great time. I feel like this person like even sent some pictures that to Leo that might have been to further this story, when really they were just buying themselves time, because they're wondering, what in the hell am I going to do? I want to be with that Leo. I love that Leo. And I've told a whopper of a lie. So what do I do now? So they told an elaborate, like one story gets bigger, is what it basically seems like to me. When really they're just trying to buy themselves time to sit and think, what the hell am I going to do? So wait a second. Were you just straight up still married to somebody, and there wasn't any kind of relationship that wasn't, that was actually over? Is that what this really boils down to? Queen of Swords and the Sun sideways. I would say this person constructed a very big lie. A lie that they met Leo and they decided, you know what? I want to be single anyway. I'm going to be divorcing. I don't think they told the other person that. They could have been still married, and for all intents purposes, the person they were married to totally thought they were still married with the Queen of Swords upright. But there's something that they don't know. With the Sun sideways, there's like, what do you mean? We're married. Yeah, we have some problems. We're not always happy, but we're married. So if they were married to a Queen of Swords, now they're like, I have to tell a Queen of Swords that I'm in love with this Leo. I basically told the Leo that I was divorced because I actually want to be divorced, but I didn't tell the Queen of Swords any of that. So she's been thinking we're still together. I mean, if this person is that big of a scoundrel, I just don't even know. Okay, 10 of Wands. They're like, I know. Do you really, Val? Because I'm not sure. Why would you have done this, character? Why would you have done this? This is probably one of the most unsavory characters I've ever had to describe. And it says, I don't know. Maybe this person is like, maybe they have really poor impulse control, and they have some problem with the truth, and they have some I don't know. This Seven of Cups says they're completely confused. What is this, like midlife crisis? Is this something where Knight of Wands in the reverse and the Leo comes out sideways? They are saying, no, it was not a midlife crisis. I wasn't looking to cheat. I just didn't know that I would meet a Leo. So did you just meet Leo and you're like, oh my God, I've never been so attracted to anybody. I didn't know a Leo like this walked the earth. Now that I've seen them, I have to have them, and it like overrides all other thought. And they're just like, I'm going to get divorced and move with Leo. I'm just going to say that I'm already divorced because I have to be around this Leo. Like, I don't understand that though. Can you make me understand? Because I'm lost in this right now. Justice in the reverse, Four of Cups sideways, Eight of Wands upright. Okay, all I can say right now is, and this is just from their perspective, they said it was that we had talked about being divorced. It wasn't unknown. I was even moving out. But somehow, some way, this still was handled all wrong. Hang on. Is it possible that there's something else of amiss in all this? Okay, so they're saying the Queen of Swords believed that we were still married. Maybe the Queen of Swords believes whatever she wants to believe. This could have been like, I don't know how to deal with somebody who says this is how it's going to be because it's the way I said I want it to be. This is not to let this person off the hook, okay? They should not have approached Leo if they weren't really single, and they damn sure shouldn't have lied to Leo. But I'm going to say something is very weird about this situation. And I can't quite put my finger on it as to what's going on because it feels kind of crazy to me. But they're trying to say, I had moved out. We were divorcing. But maybe the Queen of Swords decided that's as far as it goes. We're still staying married. We're just going to live in different places for the most part. Or you travel for work all the time, so it doesn't matter. I don't want to be married to you, but I'm completely happy with the way things are. But yeah, we're still married, and nobody's changing how things are. If that was a situation, then that's why they're like, no, I'm not trying to be married to somebody. I'm supposed to be single and free, but really I'm not. You can't say that you are one thing if you're not. If you're still cohabitating with somebody and for all intents and purposes, they're like, yeah, we're still married, and they're still married on paper, then guess what? You're still married. It's not just semantics. There was way too much crossover, even if this situation was really, really shades of murky. There's something here that is like, they know damn well, correct, this is a really big murky mess. So it's like they told some truth and some complete fabrication to Leo. I'm divorced. No, you and your wife said you two are divorced, but you're just going to stay married and maybe even sometimes cohabitate. That's not divorced. But they told Leo, I'm divorced. No, you're not really, because the word divorce means certain things. You can't say, oh, it's semantics. No, words have meaning, and those words we apply to the situation. You can't say I'm divorced when you're still actually married and be like, yes, but we said we were going to not act like we're married, but that's not divorced. They needed to tell Leo the truth, and they needed to use vocabulary and mean what those words mean. I can't say, well, I'm very short and petite, but what I mean is I'm 6 feet tall and 200 pounds. Like, that's what I actually am. But I can't say that I'm small and petite because in my mind, that's the way I want to construe myself. You can't do that. Words mean things. So I'm thinking that that's kind of what they did, and it would be as ridiculous as me saying that I'm short and petite. No, I'm not. I'm not at all. I'm neither of those things. So I can't walk around and say those things where I'm just flat out a liar. Yes, but I intend to lose weight, therefore I'll be petite. Well, no, I will never be petite anyway, but I certainly can't walk around and say things that I'm like, yes, but I'm intending to be. and there's no way to shrink me, period. So I can't get shorter. I'm just using that as an example of how this is still a big fatty lie. You can't do lies like this because a lie is still a lie. Okay. And they know this. They do know this. And this is probably why they were sitting there in the devil's seat and why they started to try to stay away from Leo, not because they didn't want to be with Leo, but because they did. And now they're faced with that nauseous feeling in their pit of their stomach of what kind of a mess have I created. Any way you slice it, I've been a liar and I don't know how to undo this now because I really want to be with Leo. So what are you going to do about all this? Because Leo already figured a bunch of this out. Figured out you weren't being truthful, and I'm thinking kicked you to the curb while still knowing full well you will never forget me. That's what Leo said in part 1. You won't ever forget me. And Leo ended things on I would have been your partner. We could have had a great life. And now instead, I'll be the one you never forget. But you can't have me. So what are they doing? Strength in the reverse, lovers in the reverse. They're not getting any nookie anywhere. They got no other lovers in their life. They don't want someone other than Leo. They don't want the situation that they're in. And they're also petrified of Leo at this point. So it feels like their life is pretty miserable at the moment. I'm not going to lie. 2 of Pentacles, Knight of Swords in the reverse, 9 of Wands. Right now they're just sitting in, kind of the serves me right to suffer, serves me right to be alone kind of attitude. Thinking endlessly, juggling back and forth. What am I supposed to do? Unable to think of any direction to move or anything to do to fix this. And they're just kind of sitting in pain right now. I mean, I got to say, though, this is their own doing on this one. So I can't say, oh, poor them. They did this. 2 of Swords in the reverse. What's 2 of Swords in the reverse in your mind? 7 of Wands. The one thing I'm sure of is that I'm blocked on every front. Leo's let me go. Leo's not even blocking me anymore, but I know that I'm blocked out of Leo's life. Because my blockage is I don't know how to approach Leo because I'm petrified of Leo at this point. We get the Queen of Cups in the reverse. We got the Hanged Man. They basically are just sitting and saying, Leo doesn't love me. Leo doesn't love me. Why? There's no way Leo could love me with the mistakes I've made, with the way I've behaved. So if I were in Leo's shoes, what would I think of me? I would not love me anymore. I'm so sorry, but that is what our story is. This is where they're sitting and this is where they're staying. And maybe that's because they have to deal with this kind of shame first. I don't really know. Do we have any message here just for Leo? Just in regards to the entire situation. 6 of Swords sideways says, the more Leo can move on from any upset over this, the better. Moving on and letting them learn the lessons that they have to, even though there might have been a lesson in this for Leo also. 9 of Cups sideways. It is about, look, Leo should know this person, they were nuts about Leo. Leo was their great happiness. And for a moment, Leo was saying, I could have been really happy with them too. And so maybe if Leo had known everything, Leo might still have said, I still want to try to be with this person. Maybe that's part of the lesson. With the Inspiration of Wands, it says, at least taking steps forward in life, always toward things that we actually want. And saying, if Leo did love this person at one point in time, and the truth is they loved Leo too, that might be all these two get a chance to have, or over time, Leo could potentially change their opinion about all of this. I don't know. All I can say is that right now it says to move on from any hurt and pain, knowing that this person has not forgotten Leo. They're nuts about Leo, will always be nuts about Leo. And as far as what Leo does next, it says always take a step in the right direction. I don't give advice. I don't know what that means for Leo, but whew, that was a long one. You guys, thank you so much for being here. I have to bounce out or this video won't process. Love you guys. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you next in, I think we're going to Virgo and then Taurus. Bye for right now.